Pe plan local, verificările polițiștilor n-au dat rezultate spectaculoase.
Cazul ambulanței care fură copii a revenit miercuri seară.
Oamenii care au încercuit ambulanța susțin că femeia ar fi încercat să fure copii.
In Bucharest, a group of people alarmed by their children start trashing a van and injure the woman inside. They think that she tries to steal their kids. The woman is a writer and sells books from her van. Not so long after, in Baku, a van is creating panic again. The men inside, a group of volunteers for a humanitarian organization, are reported to the police and end up in arrest, but are released after a couple of hours. The locals wait outside to confront the men. And the story goes on. Every now and then, the black ambulance appears in the mind of people, like a virus from another time, and brings back a common feeling from the communist era. It brings back fear. Every myth has a certain power of spreading. A power that doesn't get stopped by borders or cultures. In some Eastern European countries, it was the black ambulance. Sometimes it is a black BMW, Mercedes, or a black limo. But the story is pretty much the same. Rumors say that the car is kidnapping children and harvesting their organs. The child is never found. Various entities got in the driver's seat over the years. From sectants to Western or Arab rich people, Mafia, the KGB, or even Satan himself. The stories may vary slightly from one culture to another, but one thing we know for sure. It all started with the Black Volga. In the city of Bedzin, a black Volga foretells something horrible is about to happen. There are many visitors that day near the castle and the church. Near the castle's hill, some children are playing on the unfinished street. A couple of men, accompanied by a nun, go to one child and lure him into an abandoned building. After some time they get in the Volga and leave, but not the child. He didn't get out the abandoned house. After a while, they found him, dead. In the same abandoned house he entered with a group of men and a nun. His blood was removed and the body was left behind. In Vasilkov, near Kiev, a foreign car, possibly German, is seen. The car does a tour of the city and, after a day of going around the blocks, it vanishes. The next day, 2 children, brother and sister, are reported missing, and after a couple of days, the siblings are found in the nearby forest with their blood removed. Same in Minsk, same in Katowice, same in Moscow. But never, not in a single story, the name of the victim is given. We must not forget that we are talking about Eastern Europe under the Iron Curtain. So a foreign vehicle going down the street would certainly cause some attention, and being such a rare event, even panic. Also, the Western villains were always brought up as a general topic, as some regimes of that time wanted to present them to their people. Always the external factors, the outsiders, foreigners, the ones that are not like us. They are presented as bad elements that disturb the harmony of the community. Of course, the community, having other fears and troubles, are projecting the fear into something closer to home, something that really hurt them in the past. The KGB. They were not entirely wrong for searching inside rather than outside for their kid's killer, as the possible origin of the story came from someone so high he was considered Stalin's right hand. A horrible man, Lavrenti Beria. The mind of a predator is always in search for his next target. This hunger dehumanizes the man, turning him into an animal. That animal was Beria. The orchestra of the Katia massacre, in which 22,000 Polish officials were purged. Beria's high position in the Soviet state couldn't be questioned, so he took full advantage of it. A man so high placed, only his death would reveal the misery of his actions. However, another death was the cause for Beria's fall from grace, the man who allowed him to climb these ranks. Joseph Stalin. With Stalin dead and the trial awaiting, Beria's reign of terror had come to an end. By a power shift by Georgy Malenkov, Beria was charged with treason, terrorism, and anti-government actions. During his trial, some of the atrocities he committed surfaced. On warm nights during the war, Beria was often driven around Moscow in his limousine. He would point out young men to be taken to his mansion, where wine and a feast awaited them. After dining, Beria would take the women into his soundproofed office and rape them. Beria's bodyguards reported that their duties included handing each victim a flower bouquet as they left the house. Accepting it implied that the sex had been consensual. Refusal would mean arrest. Before and during the war, Beria directed Sarkisov to keep a list of the names and phone numbers of the women he had sex with. Eventually, he ordered Sarkisov to destroy the list as a security risk. But Sarkisov retained a secret copy. The Russian government acknowledged Sarkisov's handwritten list of Beria's victims in 2003. The victims' names will be released in 2028. Could this be the origin of the Black Volga? Probably. Probably. But we will never know for sure. What is clear is that people had an interest in this urban legend from the beginning of it. So much interest, in fact, that some people in the 70s decided to document it into a movie.
W roku 1971 przez małe polskie miasteczko Jeruzal przelała się fala strachu i trudnego do wysłowienia terroru z rąk niesławnych sowieckich służb specjalnych, znanych szerzej jako KGB. Jedynym faktem wywołującym większą grozę niż same wydarzenia z Jeruzala jest świadomość o ich szeroko zakrojonej skali, obejmującej małe miejscowości całego bloku wschodniego. Informacje zawarte w tym filmie dokumentują wstrząsające okropności, które stały się plagą i przekleństwem całego regionu.
From the little that is known, the film was so shocking that audiences couldn't bear it, and eventually it was banned in Poland. The director, Patrick Szymanski, allegedly went to the United States in order to publish it. However, after failing to find a buyer, the film was shown only for one weekend in a small theater in New York. The film disappeared in 1974. Nevertheless, the story of the Black Volga could have either begun from various infamous acts, the KGB terror over the Eastern Bloc, or the secret organization harvesting organs for the black market. Or it can all be just paranoia.